Bray Wyatt ascending to the top without Rowan and Harper. Indy Stars getting the fast track to the main roster. Nikki and Bray in Hell in a Cell. That and much more right now. Keep it locked. It's the Sharpshoot with AuSSy.
Sharpshoot with AuSSy is brought to you in part by TRN, the Talkin' Wrestling Network. Subscribe on YouTube today. And by RoadBreakWrestling.com. Get out of the bleachers and get in the ring.
What's going on, road breakers and wrestling fans alike, and welcome to this week's edition of the Sharpshoot with AuSSy. I am your host, AuSSy, and we will be shooting on some of the hottest topics and rumors in wrestling as far as WWE goes for the next half hour or so. So keep it locked here. Special thanks to the Talkin' Wrestling Network and RoadBreakWrestling.com for continuing to air this show. So the millions, okay, more like the tens and tens of viewers that show up each and every week can continue to enjoy the Sharpshoot and to maybe disagree or agree with what I have to say. We open up this week's show with news that Nikki and Brie Bella could be headed for a Hell in a Cell match at this upcoming October Hell in a Cell pay-per-view match. A lot of people concerned for multiple reasons about this match. Number one being Nikki and Brie don't have the wrestling in-ring talent to hold a match by themselves, let alone inside Hell in a Cell. Number two being it's kind of a slap in the face to those legendary Hell in a Cell matches. Immediately you think of The Undertaker, Mick Foley, Foley being thrown off the top of the cell. That doesn't sit well as far as a Nikki and Brie Bella match being thrown into the same list as that Undertaker and Mick Foley match. That's what's really disappointing me about this whole thing. And I know a lot of people took to Twitter and took to the internet to, let's face it, we're all keyboard warriors here. Nobody wanted to see this match. Nobody wants to see this match. Thankfully, I don't think we're going to see this match. But WWE Creative, if you are watching for some reason, let's face it, we all know this is better than anything Michael Cole could do. Here's the Sharpshoot with AuSSy. If you're watching the show, please let me speak on behalf of the entire internet wrestling community and basically everybody. I'm talking soccer moms that watch for Orton. I'm talking about the 5-year-old kids that watch for John Cena, all the way up to the 40, 50-year-old fat slobs that sit in front of the computers. Nobody wants to see this match, and quite frankly, it would be a slap in the face to guys like Undertaker, Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, guys that have done the Hell in the Cell and put their bodies through absolutely grueling matches to entertain fans. We don't want to see any Powder Puff Bella's match in Hell in a Cell. Keep it outside of the cage. Thank you very much. Another rumor that's making headlines in the IWC right now is that of Randy Orton's possible face turn. Now, this was reported by the Wrestling Observer newsletter, and they're basically saying that Randy Orton is set for a face turn within the next couple of months. And they go out on a limb and say that this could be a good thing because WWE does not have a lot of faces right now, with Daniel Bryan being out, Roman Reigns being out, CM Punk leaving the company. And I just totally disagree with this move 110%. I just honestly think that like a guy like Roddy Piper is a guy like Randy Orton. Randy Orton does not belong as a face. He's much more natural as a heel, and I think he should stay that way. I don't think we need to see people jumping back and forth constantly, and I think that is an issue with Randy Orton. I think his current heel run, while successful as far as title reigns are concerned, it has not been that successful as far as his actual heel character. He's been more of the baby back bitch of the Authority rather than an actual heel. I'd like to see Orton go full-fledged heel before going back to face. In fact, I'd like to not see Orton go back face at all. I'd like to see him go back to punting people in the head. I think that's what he's best at doing, being that vicious character. And I think going forward, if you're going to have returns from Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, you're going to need a top-of-the-line heel like Randy Orton to help those guys get over. I don't see Randy Orton jumping back over to the babyface side. And then you got guys like Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, both faces, along with John Cena, Dean Ambrose, and Randy Orton becoming faces. It just does not make sense to me. Too many faces, not enough legitimate heels to get them over, especially with a guy like Kane leaving possibly within a year. So as far as Randy Orton turning face is concerned, I say no, no, no. Please, WWE, hear me out here. I'm not trying to complain this entire show, but you gotta keep Randy Orton heel and make him an actual heel. Even if he's a babyface, even if he turns babyface, what needs to happen is he needs to be doing it on his own terms. Not just going out there and trying to make everybody happy, but he needs to go back to that vicious Viper character, not the last face run that we saw. That was absolutely atrocious. Let's face it. We don't need to see him pleasing the soccer moms and the younger audience. We need to see him punting people's faces, and that's really all I got to say about that. The final headline that I want to cover here on this week's episode is going to be about Bray Wyatt and his cryptic messages. Let's take a look at this tweet that Bray Wyatt sent out. And you can really, decode this for yourself. But what it looks like to me is, and you can see that second line there, second or third line, that he appears to be calling Sting out here. Talking about scorpions immediately draws an alarm to Sting. Now listen, as far as Twitter goes, we've seen Sting throw out a couple dates at us, and we've been extremely disappointed with the result, which both times have been him showing up to, do the panel for the WWE 2K15 roster reveal, and everybody was, Sting's going to return, or Sting's going to show up in a WWE ring, he's going to show up on Raw. Didn't happen. We saw the Vignette, we saw the network release of the roster reveal. Those are the only two things. It's getting to the point where if Sting released another date right now, everybody would be like, I'm not really sure what to believe here. But now Bray Wyatt getting into the mix, and he's throwing out a tweet there talking about scorpions. You gotta believe it's possible that they're trying to set up a plan B here if Undertaker should not come back for WrestleMania 31. It looks like they could build Bray Wyatt versus Sting. Now, I definitely would like to see that match, although I'm not necessarily sure they need to stick with dark character versus dark character. Yes, Undertaker versus Sting is a dream match. I'm not necessarily sure that we need to see Bray Wyatt face Sting. I think there's other characters out there that could face Sting, but Sting could really help Bray Wyatt get over. Either way, if Sting wrestles in a WWE ring at WrestleMania 31, whether it be against The Undertaker or Bray Wyatt, I expect a loss out of him. So either way, I can't really complain. I think Sting is going to be a great asset when he does hop in the ring, and I think WWE would be stupid not to capitalize on an opportunity for a guy like Sting to help a young guy like Wyatt get over. Now we will talk a little bit more about Bray Wyatt in this week's edition of The Sharpshoot, so stay tuned there. But that's all for news and rumors this week, so let's take it over to Network Picks. My network pick of the week this week is going to be a WCW pay-per-view. Now, the past couple of weeks, I've been talking about the Monday Night Wars show, and really, to be perfectly honest with you, I would recommend that you continue to watch that show. Another great episode this week. My problem has been reoccurring there. It seems that they continue to bring up the NWO in every single episode as a reoccurring theme, almost as if that's the only thing WCW did during the Monday Night Wars, which is not true at all. We've yet to see anything about Diamond Dallas Page. We haven't really seen too much about the Cruiserweight division, but to be perfectly honest with you, I'm still really interested in that Monday Night Wars show, so you can go ahead and check that out. But Starrcade 1997, some excellent matches there. Obviously, you have the Hulk Hogan versus Sting mega main event. That was really one of the first main events that really had you saying, I gotta get this WCW pay-per-view, as opposed to what WWE was putting out at the time. And the best part about this pay-per-view, perhaps, not necessarily that awesome main event, but you got some really good undercard matches. You got the Cruiserweight division title match between Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko, and you've also got a pretty stellar match from Diamond Dallas Page versus Curt Hennig, a.k.a. Mr. Perfect, to those that know him from WWE. Curt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, Curtis Axel's dad, they're all the same guy. Either way, check out Starrcade 1997. It was an absolutely excellent pay-per-view. Yes, it's time for that part of the show. It's true. It's true. And this week we've got a lot of controversy surrounding Triple H's potential burying of The Miz this past week on Monday Night Raw, when he came out and said, listen, Miz, something along the lines to Miz about how he could end his straight-to-DVD career in a second, or whatever it was. All we know is that he said the words straight-to-DVD career. Basically, a lot of people are thinking that that is Triple H burying Miz right off the rip. My argument to that is there's no way in hell that that's burying The Miz. From the get-go, Miz's character has supposed to have been a fake, a B-list, a wannabe, cocky, arrogant, jackass, B-list Hollywood star. We're not supposed to actually believe that he's an A-list Hollywood star. Therefore, Triple H calling his career straight to DVD is just reaffirming the fact that, hey, we're not really serious about Miz being a Hollywood star. A lot of people are saying, oh, Triple H is doing it for himself. He's burying the Miz, this and that. A lot of other wrestling sites. I even saw one wrestling site, I won't mention it out of embarrassment for that site, but just absolutely butchering Triple H for burying the Miz. No, the Miz is supposed to be that character that people laugh at, that people hate on, and he is supposed to think that he's much better than he really is. He's cocky, he's arrogant, that's his character. Don't be upset when you see Triple H attack that. Another argument there is that Triple H is supposed to be a heel. He shouldn't be saying things that would elicit cheers from the crowd. I don't necessarily agree with that. We've heard a lot about Vince McMahon and the higher-ups at WWE wanting to get rid of heel and face altogether, and I think all along the lines, Triple H has really played an in-between character as far as the authority goes. There has been plenty of times when he has elicited a cheer from the crowd. Even during his run with Daniel Bryan there, he would come out before the show and say, "Are you ready?" Like he would with DX. I don't think that Triple H is necessarily trying to get himself over here and bury any talent. So, I don't, like I said, I don't think Triple H is burying The Miz at all here. Remember, guys, The Miz is not supposed to be a serious character. He's not actually an A-list star. It's true.
It's damn true.
On this day! Oh, my God. I forgot that we're doing this new segment on this day. I thought Edge, a.k.a. Adam Copeland, was about to come through the door there. Adam, if you're watching the show, I can always make room on this, well, I guess I don't really have much room on this set for the two of us. But hey, Adam, if you ever want to come on the show, man, let me know. I know you're a big fan. Probably not. Anyways, on this day, new segment that we're running, and this week, it's a good one. October 2nd, 1999. English, British fans, GB, whatever you want to call yourselves, stand up, because on October 2nd, 1999, in Birmingham, England, that's right, it was Rebellion 1999, and what a main event it was between Triple H and The Rock for the WWF Championship in a cage. Now, I'll tell you why this is significant. We don't really get a once-a-year pay-per-view across the pond anymore like we used to. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think WWE is dropping the ball there, because the overseas crowd is a massive untapped potential. To be perfectly honest with you, the crowd across the sea, much more entertained and entertaining than some of the American crowds, most of the American crowds. And the reason that is because they're starved all year to get WWE over there, and they usually only get a couple tours a year. I think that WWE definitely needs to go back to doing at least one pay-per-view a year across the sea in England, in Italy, in Germany, and wherever. Just get over there, get those overseas fans, international fans, get them involved, because they're itching and yearning to have a meaningful WWE event over there, not just a WWE live event. They want to see the real deal. And Rebellion 1999 on October 2nd, 1999 was the real deal. Like I said, Triple H and The Rock in a cage match for real. We're not seeing main events like that on this day or in this day and age anymore.
How do you like me now?
This week's How Do You Like Me Now is probably going to hit a lot of people the wrong way, but then again, hey, that's what How Do You Like Me Now is for. It's just me coming out and saying what's in my gut, and whether you like it or not, doesn't matter if you like it or not. It's How Do You Like Me Now, and this week I'm talking about those Indy Stars. I'm talking about Hideo Itami and Finn Balor getting fast-tracked to the WWE main roster. I do not agree with it, and there's many reasons I don't. Now, don't get me wrong. Prince Devitt and Kenta, both bona fide wrestling legends, stars in their own rights, and they will, without a doubt, make a big impact in the WWE. The problem I have here is them leapfrogging guys like Sami Zayn, Adrian Neville, and all those talents, even a guy like Tyler Breeze, to be perfectly honest with you. I think that while those talents, Kenta and Prince Devitt, a.k.a. Hideo Itami, and Finn Balor, while they deserve to be on the main roster, they need to get their WWE characters acclimated with the WWE Universe before they make that jump to the main roster. Otherwise, I think we could see a fumble here from creative. I think creative needs a moment to really build these characters and get them ingrained in the heads of the WWE Universe, because let's face it, not all of the WWE Universe watched these guys in their indie careers or, across these. I really shouldn't even say indie careers, because they are definitely more bona fide than that. But the fact of the matter is, you got a guy like Sami Zayn that's already big time over with the crowd and could cut it as an Intercontinental or U.S. Championship contender on the main roster, and instead you're going to leapfrog him with a guy like Hideo Itami that not a lot of people really know about or have even seen much of his moveset or anything like that. He's not a relatable WWE character yet. Just because he's been flashy across the sea does not mean that he is going to be received well by everybody in the WWE Universe. So really, indie fans, IWC, fans of Devitt and Kenta, I don't think that they should leapfrog Adrian Neville and Sami Zayn. How do you like me now?
How do you like me now?
That brings us to this week's Sharpshoot, and it's another topic that I'm feeling pretty passionate about this week, and that's the fact that the Bray Wyatt storyline and the whole Wyatt family storyline seems to be coming to an end. But wait, how will Bray ascend to the top? And yes, I'm using that word as a play on words because there's a lot of rumors going around that the Wyatt family, as in Rowan and Harper, are breaking away from Bray Wyatt. We saw the promo on this past Monday Night Raw where Bray said that he was letting Harper free. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but then again I do, and I'll get to that. But what I really disagree with is the fact, or the rumor, that a lot of people think that the Ascension is going to be adopted by Bray Wyatt, and they will be his next clan, so to speak. I do not agree with this whatsoever. I think it's a terrible decision, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think that Bray Wyatt's character necessarily meshes with the Ascension. I think the Ascension is strong enough as its own entity and can run roughshod through the WWE Tag Team division. I don't think they need a leader. Those two are kind of cult leaders, riders, whatever, rebels in their own right. They don't need a leader. Now you're going to throw Bray Wyatt, you're on top of them, you're going to make them look like peasants, kind of weak. I don't really agree with it at all. And I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say about it, or hear what you guys have to say about it. So please tweet me at AuSSy, tweet us at Rope Break Wrestling, and of course at Talkin' Wrestling. We want to know what you guys think about the Ascension possibly teaming up with Bray Wyatt, and why in the hell are they just dropping Rowan and Harper off the grid here? And it looks like they're going to be giving Harper some sort of a singles career. I don't think this is the way to go. I don't think that Rowan and Harper are established enough as singles guys yet. And to be perfectly honest with you, again, I know I say that phrase quite often, to be perfectly honest with you, but it's really the only way I can describe it here, is that I honestly feel that in order to make a once tag team specialist a successful single star, you need to have a lengthy tag career, ending with the two splitting at some form. You take a look at perfect example, the Rockers. You had a great tag team that was a tag team for several years until Shawn Michaels decided to defect and start his singles career. He was always the standout there, but that didn't mean that he needed a singles career less than a year into his run, or a year into his run, so to speak, a little more so than a year into his run. I don't think that Harper while I think Harper definitely is deserving of a singles career, and I think that he definitely has the talent to move forward and break away from Rowan, I don't think now is the right time. I think you build them as a tag team a little more, and then you have a guy like Harper decide to screw Rowan over and defect from the tag team and prove himself as a singles competitor. I don't just think you suddenly have the trio off TV for a couple weeks, and then when we're brought back to them being on TV, suddenly Bray is letting everybody free to make room for what seems to be the Ascension. I think the whole storyline is going to be a big clusterfuck, and it doesn't make sense to me at all. What's going to happen here? Who's Harper going to face? Is it going to be Harper versus Rowan, even though we haven't seen any, dissent from them between the two of them? We haven't seen them fighting or arguing or any foreshadowing to them, wanting to break up. And then the Ascension, they're just going to jump right into Bray Wyatt's arms. Doesn't really make sense to me at all. I think the whole storyline, like I said, is a big clusterfuck, and I don't agree with it at all. But I want to know what you guys have to say about it. So again, tweet me at @IamAuSSy, at @RopeBreakWrestling, and at Talkin' Wrestling using the hashtag #Sharpshoot, and let me know what you think about the Ascension joining Bray Wyatt and about the Wyatts, as in Rowan and Harper, defecting from the Wyatt family, and what do you think it means for everybody involved going forward? Listen, this has been another really fun episode of the Sharpshoot. I appreciate you guys for tuning in every single week. It's much appreciated. If you can, spread the word, because to be perfectly honest with you, the power is in your hands here. If you decide you want to share this show with your friends or even your enemies, this show can get out and we can get this more widespread. We might be able to even expand it to an hour and bring back the mailbag where we can answer your questions. I'd like to get some of you guys on here live to ask me your questions, and we can shoot back and forth on different topics, maybe have some debates, maybe some giveaways in the future, but that's up in the air. The show needs to gain some popularity here before they try and cancel me. So do me a favor, if you even like the show this much, you don't even have to really like it. I'm not charging you $9.99 for it here. Go ahead, share it with your friends. Share it with the people that you know are in the IWC, on Reddit, on your other favorite WWE fan sites, wherever. It's the Sharpshoot, and like my friend Matt Donato says, Rope Break Wrestling is a lifestyle. So get out of the bleachers and get in the ring with RopeBreakWrestling.com and the Talking Wrestling Network. Guys, thanks again for tuning in to this week's episode of the Sharpshoot. Once again, I'm your host, AuSSy. We'll see you guys next week.
Sharpshoot with AuSSy is brought to you in part by TRN, the Talking Wrestling Network. Subscribe on YouTube today. And by RopeBreakWrestling.com. Get out of the bleachers and get in the ring.